So there is an investigation underway. There should be. But that didn't stop the verdict from being delivered almost immediately. Within hours, social media and the political left decided what happened. Executed, murdered, unjust. Before facts were established, the target was set. The ICE agent, his job, his identity, even his family. Calls for firing, calls for doxing, death threats. That tells you something important. This isn't about justice, it's about narrative. Before we talk about Minnesota, before we talk about rhetoric, we need to understand the larger picture. Immigration and Customs Enforcement was created in 2003. Its job is to enforce immigration law passed by Congress. And ICE, or its predecessor agencies, has operated under every president since Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and now Trump again. Under Clinton, immigration enforcement expanded dramatically. Under Bush, ICE was formally created. Under Obama, more than 3 million people were deported, the highest total in modern history. Under Trump's first term, removals are approaching 1 million. Under Biden, deportations hit a 10-year high in 2024. And now, under Trump again, enforcement has accelerated. So no, this is not a new agency. It's not new authority, not a rogue operation. What changed is politics. And if you think aggressive federal enforcement is new, and if you remember Elian Gonzalez, year 2000, 6 years old. I think the president was Bill Clinton. Federal agents stormed a Miami home, guns drawn, to seize a child and return him home to Cuba. There's a Pulitzer-winning photo burned in American history. An armed agent pointing a rifle as a terrified child is pulled from a closet. No national meltdown, no abolish ints, no accusations of fascism. Why? Well, because enforcement was politically convenient. This has never been about tactics. It's about who's in power. So now let's talk about the responsibility. Alex Pretti was legally permitted to carry a firearm. Anyone who's taken a concealed carry class knows this. When you carry, your responsibility increases. You avoid chaotic environments. You avoid confrontation. You do not insert yourself into law enforcement operations. Those aren't opinions. That's safety principles. And I do feel bad for Pretti. I feel bad that he died. Not because what he did was justified. It wasn't. I feel bad because he was led to believe that interfering with law enforcement like this was acceptable. It's not. It's not a protest. This is illegal conduct. It's a riot. Instead of standing on the sidewalk and protesting from a safe distance, he entered the street. He confronted federal agents. He physically interfered with an active enforcement action. And during the struggle, he was disarmed, yet he continued fighting. Multiple witnesses, not affiliated with law enforcement, stated that he was physically threatening agents, continuing to resist, and appeared to be reaching through his clothing as if searching for another weapon. Law enforcement does not get the luxury of guessing. They do not get to pause and wonder whether someone is reaching for the gun they dropped or the gun they still have. His actions created a lethal threat. The officers had to respond accordingly. Now, what about the rhetoric before the shooting? This didn't happen in a vacuum. In the weeks leading up to this, Minnesota political leadership was openly and publicly attacking federal enforcement. Walz, Mayor Fry, others, press conferences, public statements, media appearances. Federal agents were framed as illegitimate. The presence was condemned. Cooperation was rejected. When politicians blur the line between lawful protest and illegal obstruction, they lie to their people. They tell emotionally charged, mentally fragile, or easily influenced individuals that there will be no real consequences for actions that are clearly criminal. And when those individuals act on that message, they are the ones who end up in jail or in the hospital or in the morgue, not the politicians. The politicians go home insulated from the fallout. Peaceful protest is protected. Filming from a distance is protected. Physically inserting yourself into a law enforcement operation is not. The moment you interfere, obstruct, surround, block, badger, attempt to stop and arrest, you've crossed the line from protester to offender. It's not an opinion, that is the law. When federal, state, or local law enforcement is conducting an investigation or making an arrest, you jump in and interfere, you're committing a crime. When a weapon is present, everything changes. After Pretti's death, the rhetoric escalated even further. More condemnation, more outrage, more refusal to cooperate. And the streets responded exactly how you'd expect. Only after lives were lost did leadership finally change course. Trump and Wallace have spoken directly. Now local enforcement is working with federal agents. Crowd control is in place. Rioting is being addressed. The law is being enforced. That cooperation should have existed from the beginning, because when law enforcement works together, chaos goes down, not up. So from a human standpoint, yeah, this death is tragic. A family is grieving, and that matters. But someone lied to him. Someone told him his behavior was acceptable and without consequences. It was not. This will keep happening as long as politicians blur the line between lawful protest and criminal interference. You can protest, you can film from a distance, you cannot obstruct arrest, you cannot interfere with law enforcement, and you cannot gamble with force and expect a peaceful outcome. Calling this anything else is dishonest, and it's dangerous.